Do you feel alone? Maybe in your relationship, out of your relationship, you feel like no one gets you, no one understands. Maybe you feel like you've been completely just cut off from friends, from family, from people that have been around you. When you're in a toxic relationship, the narcissist in your life isolates you, brings you to a place where you are completely alone. Do you feel like this? I want you to understand that you don't have to stay this way, but acknowledging and seeing this needs to be important, first off and foremost, for us to even have this conversation. When you look at the past 5 years, 20 years, what have you seen happen to friends and family? Have you seen a closeness come together even more, or a falling apart? Different interactions, different talks with friends and family that you've had that have disintegrated. Not because you haven't shown up, but because he hasn't shown up. Because there's been this push and pull of what you're allowed to go to or what you're not allowed to go to. Not overtly like keeping you chained at home, but covertly making you pay. You go and you spend some time with some friends, and when you come back, you just notice the silent treatment. You notice that something's wrong. He's not actually telling you something's wrong. He's not even putting it out there. But instead, it's a subtle piece. This piece that makes you think, what did I do wrong? What did I do? Makes you doubt. When a narcissist isolates you, he slowly creates this small levels of doubt that slowly chip away at you, your confidence, and the people that you're around. This can be done with isolation, through triangulation, through manipulation, through gaslighting, through a lot of different ways. But the goal is to be able to keep you completely isolated. When you get isolated, you start to think that you're the only one dealing with this particular issue. That you're the only one struggling inside a relationship that just doesn't seem to be loving. It just doesn't seem to be caring to the way that you actually thought a relationship was going to be. When he's isolating you, it's a small, slow fade. It's a piece by piece by piece that gets you to the place where you think, I can't do anything. Simply put, he wants to make sure that you stay isolated so he has you all to himself. Now, at the beginning of the relationship, it can be a place where you feel super excited about him, about how everything's going, about the relationship, like he's the best thing ever. And then slowly as he starts to change, and slowly as the mask starts to drop, it feels incongruent for you to go back and tell people that he's no longer this wonderful guy. But instead, you start to think, well, maybe it's me. And sometimes you start to pull away from other people. You might pull away from someone else in your life simply because he's been talking about that other person, slowly putting in comments that just make you doubt the friendship, the relationship. There might be people pulling away from you because they don't want to be involved inside your life. They don't want to interact with you and him because of the energy or the toxicity that actually comes off of him. They're just like, I'd rather just stay away. Maybe you're at the place where you've cycled back and forth with the toxic guy in your life over and over and over. This has been the norm inside your relationship. Over the past 3 years, you've cycled back and forth 20, 30 times, breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together. How much he's involved you and your family and friends and all of other people inside the relationship, well, that's a whole nother story. But inside this piece, you're going to see this cycle that happens is going to produce a frustration with your friends and with your family. Why? Because they love you, because they care about you, because they don't want to keep seeing you get hurt, used, and abused. But when they see this cycle happen over and over and over again, they start to get frustrated with you. Not realizing, not understanding that you're dealing with addiction, you're dealing with a trauma bond, you're dealing with a piece that you don't know how to break. But as a result, you feel shame that you're even entertaining the option of going back to him. You get to the place where you're put on a short list of saying, hey, if you do this again, I don't know if we can be in your life anymore. And you start to lose the friends. You start to lose the family. You start to lose the people in your life that you care about. But as a result of your decisions and as a result of going back to this toxic relationship, they've started to pull away. The shame of everything that's happening, the shame of the relationship, the shame of you having to lie to your friends and family about you're actually back with them or you're communicating again, having to hide it from your kids because you don't want them to get upset that you're back in the toxic relationship. All of these different things produce a high level of shame in your life. Shame is its own emotional isolator. Shame takes what you're doing and what's happening and it puts this as a label on you. saying you're not good enough, saying you're bad, saying you're an awful person. And that shame keeps you from interacting with other people who would tell you opposite. Because the shame says, hey, you can't do this. You have to keep this quiet. You have to keep this secret. You can't tell anyone that you're struggling with. You can't show anybody what's going on. You can't. And shame starts to be the isolator in the relationship. So there's really two. There's the narcissist, but then there's also shame, keeping you oftentimes stuck, hidden, below the surface, not able to actually shine and show forth who you actually are. Does this resonate with you? You actually being stuck in this place of shame. You actually being stuck in this place of isolation. You not knowing how to move forward. You feeling just stuck. If this resonates with you right now, just type in me in the chat, just so I understand how many people this even resonates with when we're talking about this piece of isolation. Now, I want you to consider the opposite. Well, imagine you being at a place where you have the friends and the family and you're not isolated. You're at a place where you can actually interact with other people who are breathing truth into your life. People that actually get what you're going through. People that actually understand, hey, you don't have to hide. You don't have to be alone because you're not in this journey. There's hundreds and thousands of people that are in the same exact journey as you. You're not alone. Then when you realize this, your mind just starts to break. Like the whole world starts to crack before your eyes because you start to realize that everything he said to you was a lie. Everything he projected on you was just false. Because there's other people struggling with the same exact thing simply because they've been stuck in a toxic relationship as well. And they've been riddled with shame as well. And they've thought, hey, maybe I can get free, but they just kept cycling back. And their friends and family got upset and you realize you're not alone. Like I said, shame is the biggest thing that will isolate you. Shame and the narcissist. On the flip side, us being able to help you tap into your vulnerability. Tap into your honesty. Tap into a piece of exposure of you being willing to say, hey, this is me. This is everything that's going on. Because when you're in a toxic relationship, you lose who you authentically are. The version of you starts to disintegrate, starts to hide. There's a mask that starts to even form just to survive sometimes when you're in this relationship. Has this happened? You don't have to be isolated anymore, but you do have to take a step. So one of the hardest things for you to be able to do is to take an initial step to reach out for help. Because if you don't, you'll stay in a place where you think, this is the norm. This is how it's always going to be. This is just my life. This is just my fate. But instead, I want you to understand that it doesn't have to be. You can have a better life. You can have a life that's actually helping you move forward in your growth. You can have a life that's not constantly triggered and you feel like you're just an emotionally reactive person throughout the day. You can have a life where you're not cut off from your emotions and you're not emotionally numb, just trying to make it through, just showing up as a zombie every day, just doing the things that need to be done for survival. You don't have to live that way. There's healing. There's growth. There's transformation that can happen, but you have to be willing to say, hey, I'm stuck. I'm stuck inside the isolation. I'm stuck with the shame. I'm stuck with the frustration that I can't figure this out. And if you're willing to do that, that's the first step. The first step in just saying, I'm stuck. I need help. You realize when you look at the facts that you just can't do it on your own. You've tried, you've left, and you've come back. You've gone no contact, and you've reopened. You keep doing this over and over and over again. It's time for us to do something different. Because the repetitive things that you've tried haven't worked because that's why you're still here. So I want you to reach out for help. Please go to rawmotivations.com. Watch a video that I have there for you to be able to see. Because if I don't help you move forward in the healing process, you will stay stuck exactly where you are. Part of the things we need to do is severalfold. One is be able to work on the shame piece. Like I have to be able to work on building your confidence so that the shame no longer defines you. Because if the shame defines you, it will keep you isolated. It will not let you move. You stay confused, you don't move, you die. So we have to work on building the confidence and actually dealing with that piece of the shame. We also have to break the trauma bond and make sure that you don't have this addiction piece going back to him over and over and over again, but you're able to step into your certainty of who you actually are, going the direction that you actually want to go, which is going to require us to also build healthy boundaries to help you move forward. Meaning we're going to have to set up different roadblocks for other people not to cross into your path, but you to be able to continue down the path that you believe you're called to live. And we have to help you out to actually understand and find who you are. There's a version of you that shows up in a powerful way. There's a version of you that is just destined for more. But we have to be able to help you uncover that and see that. If that's you and you want help inside this journey, then go to rawmotivations.com. Watch the video that I have there. Apply for a call and let's see about talking. Because if I can help just see where you currently are and where you want to go, we can start building a path to break the trauma bond, to break the triggers, to establish healthy boundaries, and to help you redefine who you are. If I can help with that, go to rawmotivations.com today.